Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the turd behind me, but I'm not messing with the turd. We're working on a solution to try to figure it out. Worst case scenario with this thing, if we can't get the electrical system sorted on the OEM side of things, I am not going to proceed with keeping that engine in that car. Worst case scenario, that EG33 comes out. That's a big built motor right there. And that engine is going to live one way or another. So if I can't get it sorted in that car, I'm gonna go buy like a beat to GC chassis and put that engine in a GC and make some sauce into GC. I don't care, one way or another, I'm getting a flat 6 STI, whether we have to build it from scratch or whether we're using this one. So, and obviously an EJ would go back in that car, and that would just be an EJ STI that we would have. I still wouldn't get rid of that car, but yeah, worst case scenario, we just put the 6-cylinder, and someone's having fun out there. So worst case scenario, the EG33 goes into a GC chassis or a GD chassis, and we build that one, and then this one just becomes an EJ STI, like 450 wheel, and it'll just be a fun little daily that we have on the channel. So today we're going up to the mod garage. I have another motor that I'm going to build today. Well, it's not, well, I already built the motor. I just got to get it timed, get it put back in the car. I'm still waiting on an AMS intake manifold for that thing. AMS manifolds have been on back order for quite a while at this point for these. I don't know why, but they're all on back order. So let's go swing up to the mod garage. Got Gunther all warmed up. Let's go party. Let's go do this stuff. All right, so we're back up at the mod garage. As you guys remember from last time, I got done. Dude, this tripod is breaking my balls. So as you guys remember from last time, we got this engine built. We got it assembled, put together, ready to go in the car. I was just waiting on cam gears, oil cooler, and a couple other smaller things for this engine. They've all come in, so we can get all of it back on the car. On the engine, get the engine back in the car, and then start getting some of the accessories in. Like I said earlier, I'm still waiting on an AMS manifold for this thing, so there's only so much I can do. So we're gonna start things off today with timing it. Super easy to go by. Let me get these cam gears on, and I'll walk you guys through like a quick timing procedure on how to time these things. So we have this thing all timed up. Now, a couple things when you're going through timing an EJ, make sure all your marks line up, double check them all like multiple times before you pull anything off. This Company 23 tool is a lifesaver. If you guys don't have one, I'll link it down below if you guys do want to snag one. It holds your cam gears in place because this side is sprung as you're doing timing. So trying to hold the cam gears with tools and whatnot, this just makes life 1,000 times easier. This side stays unsprung, so you can rotate these cam gears any way you need to. If you're doing this in the car and you need to check these side markings down here, go ahead and get yourself like a little makeup mirror or something. As weird as it sounds, it works beautifully. I stole the ladies when I was doing it last time, but you want to make sure that these marks right here do line up with the little indentations on the actual timing cover right there. So now that we have all of this timed, all of our markings are good, our belt is centered. That's another thing you want to make sure is all your belts are centered on your pulleys, because you don't want the belt being like right on the edge or riding on the edge of one of the pulleys. It's just good practice. Make sure they're all centered. So we'll get this tool off. We'll pull out our grenade pin right there. We'll spin it over a few times and make sure all of our marks still line up. Now, one thing you are going to notice when you do go to turn this over, all of your timing marks on your belt will no longer line up. It's not a huge issue. They're just there for installation. Aside from that, don't worry about them. Ooh, grenade pin has been pulled. Not here. It's the tape on the forks of the heads as I'm turning it over. It's got spark plugs in it, so it's trying to build compression. Lined up, lined up, lined up, lined up, lined up, and lined up. We are ready to go. So I've got the motor ready to go back in the car at this point. Exhaust manifold is back on, oil cooler's back on, it's timed, crank pulley's back on. This is at this point ready to be dropped in. So we're gonna be using an ACT Streetlight flywheel, ACT HDSS clutch, the same clutch that we've used in pretty much all of our builds. Like any other Subaru motor, the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna get the throwout bearing on the transmission first. I can turn that on. So we'll get the throwout bearing on here first. We'll pull out the clutch for it, get it cleaned off, throw a little bit of moly grease on the splines of it, just so that way it goes into the actual pressure plate nicely. We'll get the transmission jacked up a little bit, so that way we can realign it with the engine, get all the bolts, get it all bolted in, get it dropped into the subframe down there, get the power steering pump and the AC compressor put back on. Standard Subaru practice. So let's get this thing off the stand, get a pressure plate and a clutch and a flywheel and all the goodness put back on it. So engine is back in the car. We ran into a little bit of a pain. The locating dowels on the engine that locate the transmission, one of them was stuck in the transmission, like it was rusted in. We tried heat, punches, you name it, we tried it. Eventually an air hammer was able to get it out, but that thing was such a pain it did not want to come out. I've never had one that stuck. But our motor is back in the car, so that way I can start getting some of these accessories back on. I'll get the radiator in, power steering pump, AC, up pipe, turbo, down pipe, maybe some other smaller things here and there. It's not in a huge rush. Like I said, we're still waiting on this AMS manifold to come in to like finish the build and whatnot. So try to knock out as much as I can tonight. But on the bright side, I do want to say thank you to those who have reached out with the STIs problem. Someone from Subaru of America, I'm not going to name any names, obviously. Someone from Subaru of America did reach out. People are reaching out to Vermont Sports Cars. So everyone who has like positivity going into this, like trying to help out, I greatly appreciate it. If you're one of the negative Nancys, lick my butt. I'm tired of you. Go lick my butt somewhere. So we will have progress with it. Now, here's something interesting. Luis! This is Luis, way back there. It's focused on me so you can't really see him, so it's kind of like a blob back there. But his car was having the exact same issue that ours is having, where as soon as he would apply power to the car, auto turn on. And I'm gonna try what he did. He got his to work. So I'm gonna try this. He left his key in the car with power applied to it for a while, and then maybe it just like picked up signal or frequency again. So we're gonna give that a try. Tomorrow I'll just let it sit for like 5-6 hours on a battery tender with it plugged in, with the keys in the car and power applied to it. Every once in a while we'll go out there, we'll try turning it on off, seeing if anything happens. On the off chance that something does happen, incredible. On the off chance that something doesn't happen, we'll figure something out. But start getting some accessories put back on this guy. And you.
Hi.
Why you gotta be so awkward? So at this point, got radiator in, AC condenser, or AC compressor, my bad, up pipes in, motors bolted back up, back in the subframe, everything like that. So at this point, I need to get the external wastegate on down there. So this is a PLM up pipe that we had, or ceramic coated, call it whatever you want to call it. So we'll get that 38mm wastegate on there. Before I can even put the wastegate on that and the dump tube on that, I need to come over here. Do you guys want to be on camera? So I need to come over here and get these springs in there. So normally I just set all of my wastegates to 0.9 bar. It's a safe setting for the most part. If they need to swap springs, they can definitely swap springs. So we'll get this guy put in there, get this wastegate put in with the dump tube up here. I haven't used a PLM up pipe before, so I'm not quite sure how Fitment's going to be with their little dump tube right here. So we'll find out. Once that's in the car, we can get the FP Black on and keep going on it. So this is where I'm stopping on this STI tonight. I went ahead, got the ETS from an intercooler core put on it. I dropped the bolt for the wastegate V-band, and I don't feel like finding it. It didn't hit the ground, so it's in the black abyss somewhere in there. So this car is actually going to be going over to Josh over at Baterbilt. He's going to be doing all the tuning on this, so we're working with him to get a base tune. Same with that blue one over there. So Josh, if you see this video, have fun with them. They're both FP black cars, both E85. They're pretty much the exact same car, actually. I'm pretty sure they are the exact same car. For Modla, he has stage 2 cams. These are... Oh yeah, so different cams between the two of them. So this is gonna be going over to Josh. This is where I'm stopping. I need that AMS intake manifold. Luis has one for his car, but I'm not gonna kidnap it or anything like that. I could use it to build a fuel system around, but I'm just kind of tapped out for tonight, so we'll get that taken care of. Next time, I also need to get a bung welded in that downpipe, which Kyle will be doing for us. So I'll bring a bung for him. I also got the rear seats for the Evo 8, weirdly enough, while I'm up here, I know. So I found somebody, well, I put out an Instagram thing, and you guys sent someone over my way for a set of Evo 8 rear seats. So we now have a set. I need to get these shampooed because, as you can see, they are a little bit dirty and a little bit gross, but there's nothing wrong with that. They're what, 19 years old or something like that at this point. I don't know, they're old. So we'll get these shampooed, we'll get them cleaned up, and we'll get them put in the Evo after our fuel pump gets put in, which I don't know if I told you guys. I did get the fuel pump for the car. It's just a radium hanger with a single 450 for what we're shooting for. It's just 450 on pump gas. So let's get these loaded up. Let's swing back down to the house and we'll end this whole video thingy dealio we got going on. So next day, obviously, I wanted to go ahead and get the Evo seats cleaned because I'm going over to the shop tomorrow, but I have a big update on this for you guys. But first, like I said, no more weird, like, baby looking mark stains on the back seats. There's a couple of them that I couldn't get out. So once these dry, I'll see how they look. If I need to go over them again and do it another time, I definitely will. That backrest looks 1,000 times better. This butt piece may need a little bit more love. I might just pressure wash this one. But I've just been using the little shampooer. Like, this thing works absolute wonders. Like, the amount of poop juice that this thing pulls out is incredible. I've used that thing on so many cars at this point. So with this, I got a big update. So I'm gonna start off by saying the battery is on right now, okay? So the circuit breaker's open, so it's allowing power to flow to the car. Look at that. The dash is not on. Now you're gonna see the security light flash right there. Boop. One more time. Boop. So as you can see, it has power, but it's not on. Now here's the next crazy thing. I've got my key for the Subaru right here. If I do this, focus on my hand now. That's a huge step. So at this point, I am trying every trick in the book that I can think of, and some of them are working. It's not 100% where it needs to be. So whenever you go to push the push start button, I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm gonna keep messing with it and I don't want power applied to the car, but I also don't wanna shut off the circuit breaker, because if I push the push start button, it goes into accessory mode and then it goes into on mode. So I can get it from accessory to on, but the problem is I can't go from on to off. So I still can't turn the car off, which is still a problem. But having the key work for lock and unlock is a huge step in the right direction. And I keep, like, everyone who's saying, oh, that's not gonna work, you can't do this, watch me make this work, and then eat your words when it's fucking working. So huge step in the right direction for getting things working. Again, having that key lock and unlock when it's in this state is huge, and the only way I can get it to this state right now is if I leave power on the car. So if I turn power on, gauge cluster comes on initially. So if I flip, let me back up. If I flip the circuit breaker off, flip it back on, power comes onto the car. Now, if I just leave the car on and I don't do anything with it, eventually it times out. I don't know after how many hours, but eventually it'll go into this timeout stage. Now, the key could have been working this entire time, but the reason that I've never been able to get the key to work is because I've never let the car go into this power on, power off cycle where the key actually registers like that. Because every time I've done it, it's always been in that stuck on state, and when it's stuck in that stuck on state, nothing works. So having it go into this weird sleep hibernate mode and having the key work, huge. I'm gonna keep playing with things. I'm gonna keep doing whatever I can within my power to get this thing to work 100%, because that's the goal. That's the goal. I'm gonna achieve the goal. Everyone's gonna eat their words who told me I can't do this. So with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. headed up to the shop. Well, I have some stuff going on with this weekend that I can't really, I'll keep you guys in the loop with it. But I'm going over to the shop tomorrow, work on the Evo, get the valve cover powder coated, the Brembo's powder coated. Our coilovers show up on Tuesday. Our fuel pump and hanger shows up on Saturday. And all of the timing components show up on Saturday for the Evo also. So as soon as we get the block back, we can build it, we can get it timed, we can put it back in the car, and then we can start doing the turbo system, the fuel lines, injectors, fuel rail, all that stuff to get the Evo up and running again. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. This is absolutely huge with this car having that key work now. Still have a long way to go before we can even tackle back into that engine. We're just talking on the OEM side of electrical things. So I'll continue to do what I do. I'll continue to try to figure something out. Once again, huge shout out and appreciation to everyone who's reached out and just done what you guys do. So if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn to black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.